everyone, it's Sally with the Polka Dot Life. Are you interested in becoming a stamper or a card maker? Are you worried though that you might not have a lot of extra money to put into supplies? Or maybe you don't mind paying for the supplies, but you just don't have a lot of extra time to invest in a project right now? I have just the solution for you. Let's head on over to the stamp desk and get started. Have you been watching videos and thought about starting to become a stamper or a card maker? But you just thought, I don't have a lot of extra money to put into supplies, or I don't have a lot of time to invest in a project, in particular, maybe for Christmas cards, but it's something that you would really like to do. I kind of wanted to show you a super fast, easy layout today for a card. And I wanted to start off, I am going to be using the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper today. And what this layout kind of does is it takes these prints, they're all in the same color family. And then when you flip them over, you know, they still all coordinate. So you can mix and match, use any of these pieces or parts together, and it will make a very nice card. To find out what coordinating cardstock or what all colors are in our Designer Series paper, it doesn't matter whether it's a 6x6 or a 12x12, you can simply come to the back. It comes packaged, or it will show you in the catalog as well. This particular set, it says here on the back, Mossy Meadow, Pear Pizzazz, Real Red, Whisper White. Those are the coordinating colors in this particular package of paper. And it's really good that there are just the three main colors and the Whisper White. That really makes every pattern work together. So let's move this out of the way and take a look at our card for today. You would simply need a pack of Whisper White thick cardstock, which is going to go with 90% of our papers. The others would take very vanilla, probably as a coordinating neutral. But the Whisper White works with most everything. And so that would be your card base. You would need one package of Designer Series paper, and you could even maybe not do the colored cardstock matte around here. You could simply maybe even use another one of the coordinating prints if it wasn't too busy. But you can buy our packages of cardstock in like a sampler pack of the different color families. So that might be an option for you as well. This greeting is also on just a regular piece of Whisper White cardstock. But if you were only going to be making a few cards, you could certainly do your greeting out of the thick Whisper White cardstock as well. But I just thought this was a really fun card. I love a little white space on my cards. If you had some more of this paper left over, you could certainly put a strip or something inside your card to brighten it up if you would like to. But a little bit of white space doesn't bother me or doesn't scare me in the least. We are going to be doing a little different version, same card layout, but just different pieces or patterns of our cardstock. You would need some ink, and certainly a great color choice would be the Memento Black if you wanted to choose something to start out with that would go with a lot of different projects. I, however, chose the Real Red today for the card. And then you would need a stamp set with greetings. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing Christmas, birthday cards, sympathy cards, whatever kind of card it is that you normally would have a need for. That's what kind you should be making. So that's all the stamping we have to do. I chose to use a punch today. That way you would not have to invest in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine right now if that is not what you wanted to do. And also, just if you wanted to dip your toe into the water to see if this is something that you would enjoy. But I chose a round punch today, but we have punches in all different shapes and sizes. This is a 2-inch circle punch. And I feel like this is a good size because it works with a lot of our greetings. We'll bring in our card pieces. And I know that some of this might be boring to some of you to just watch me layer this up. But if you are a beginner, you need to start somewhere. We take adhesive. I like the liquid adhesive because it gives you a little wiggle room. And I like to get that to make sure it's up into the corners. And we're simply going to layer this onto our cardstock, on our card base. We in the United States, the standard size for making a card is an A2 card size. If you live in different parts of the world, you may use an A4 size, and you would also probably use centimeters versus inches. A lot of different little fun facts. This is some real red cardstock, and I'm simply going to put my adhesive there. And we also have tape runner adhesive. Some people prefer that. Like I say, I like the maneuverability of the liquid glue. And it's also a strong adhesive. It works most of the time for whatever you need. And then for the colored on this one, the coordinating color, I just chose to use Mossy Meadow. And see, this is that same thing, but we're going to use the reverse side on our front. And you don't need to worry about writing any measurements down. Those will be all linked in the description box below. And we're just going to put a little bit of a mat around here. It's not a very big one. And then the same with this piece of paper. And we used this color on, or this pattern, I should say, on our other card. And so we are going to do the reverse on this one, just so you can see how well these all go together. Now, I could use grid paper or a ruler and worry about how is this perfectly centered and whatnot. You could, if it would drive you crazy. But to me, it doesn't. I think the only time you can really make a big error on a card is not sending one. These can be put a little closer together or a little further apart. Whatever strikes your fancy. It's what I like about this really great layout. And even though I say it is for a beginning stamper, I consider myself somewhat of an avid crafter, and I enjoy this card layout as well. Let's bring that in just a little bit, if it will. Super. And then you simply just take some adhesive on here, and it's not going to like go down in the center here because this is already a little bit higher. If you had other supplies and you wanted to put some dimensionals on the bottom of this, give it some dimension and depth, you could certainly do that. You could take some linen thread and put behind here. When we're finished, you could add some embellishments if you have those and wanted to add those as well. This is just a simple place to start. And I like both cards. See, we put, it looks like this one, well, this is a little bit closer together. It just shows differently because of the red. but these are a little further apart. These are a little closer together. It's just different patterns, but they're still great cards. And just because they don't have a lot of detailed or difficult steps doesn't mean it's not still a beautiful card that you would bless someone by sending it to them. And if you already are buying the cardstock, you would, of course, you would also need envelopes, but if you already have the designer series paper and you have the envelopes, just taking some of this designer series paper and gluing it onto the flap of your envelope and then trimming it, the excess away, you would have another element of design, and it is still a very, very beautiful card. I think sometimes we get lost in just the simpleness of a card. Sometimes I like these straight lines and these white bases lately. I'm just loving these Whisper White thick card bases. You want the thick and not the regular because it would be too thin. The paper weight is much greater, much higher with our thick cardstock. And that is what you want for card bases, and that is always the cardstock that you would want to use if you were going to be coloring with our alcohol markers. I hope this gave you some inspiration today on where to maybe begin with your card making journey. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them for you. Leave a comment or send me an email at sally@thepolkadotlife.com, and I'd be happy to follow up with you. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.